Good morning and welcome to BENUETVNEWS at 9. My name is Mercy Upa. The headline: the Benue State government imposes 24-hour curfew in Ukun local government area of the state. Rivers State Police Commander arrests commander of vigilante group over alleged crimes and unforeseen. Kenya's police fires tear gas water cannon at protesters across the country. The Benue State government has placed a 24-hour curfew in Ukum local government area of the state. Governor Hyacinthe announced the curfew in a press briefing shortly after an emergency security meeting Wednesday at Government House, Makurdi. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Akula, has a report.
The government of Benue State says it has received briefs on the security situation in the Ukum local government area of the state. Governor of the state, Reverend Father Hyacinthe, represented by his deputy, Dr. Sam Ode, explains that cause of the crisis has not been established. The government is investigating the situation. It pronounces a 24-hour curfew in the area to avoid further breakdown of law and order. According to the governor, the curfew takes effect from 3 p.m. July 3rd to 3 p.m. July 4, 2022 in the first instance. He further directs that from July 4, 2024, the curfew will be from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day till further notice.
The government of Benue State was apprised with grave security situation in the Ukum local government area of the state, which has led to a breakdown of law and order, leading to wanton destruction of government property and threats to life arising from this situation and the need to protect the lives and property of all Benue citizens, especially those who are in the Ukum local government area and the Sankara general area. The governor of Benue State, His Excellency, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinthe, has directed that with effect from 3 p.m. today being the 3rd day of July 2024, there will be a curfew in and around Ukum local government for 24 hours.
He says the action has become necessary following the security situation in the local government that led to the destruction of government property and threat to lives. Emmanuel Akula, BENUETVNEWS, Makurdi.
The Benue State government has signed a deal of about $194 million with a private company, Sector Lead Limited, to convert waste into wealth. Governor Hyacinthe signed the deal on behalf of the state government, while Adedayo Mustafa signed for his company, Sector Lead Limited, during a ceremony that took place Wednesday at Government House, Makurdi. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula is still on standby to bring us details.
Analysts say protecting the environment calls for creativity, while promoting economic development must take into account issues around climate changes. According to the government of Benue State, its partnership with Sector Lead Limited is a deliberate response to this need. Governor Hyacinthe, who is represented by his deputy, Dr. Sam Ode, says government has considered variables in the partnership, including the legal aspect that will impact on the environment and well-being of the state. Dr. Ode explains that government will follow the agreed guidelines in executing the project.
The ceremony we are going to perform here this afternoon is going to be the watershed of the marriage between the state government of Nigeria and sector leads. We are going to execute agreements which guides the relationship between the two and also the operational guidelines of the project that we have in focus.
Chief Executive Officer of Sector Lead Limited and the team lead, Adedayo Mustafa, describes the partnership as a pathway to economic development. He says the main objective is to turn waste into wealth. announcing that the partnership will give employment to 720 Benue indigenes in the first month of his company's operation in the state. Mustafa adds that his company will be collating waste from the landfills and dump sites for conversion to energy through an automatic waste separation process.
When we say wealth, we have about 7 products we are doing from the waste we are getting from the state. Start from the energy, biogas, biofertilizer, RDF, we have fly ash. All these will bring money into the state pockets. And the state will begin to generate from now till another 15 years annually. That will definitely shoot up the IGR of the state.
Director General, Benue State Bureau for Entrepreneurship and Wealth Creation, Benita Shurua, and Commissioner for Water Resources, Environment and Climate Change, Mr. Uguodo, separately revealed that a tune of $194 million will be spent on the project to be majorly funded by the partners with support from the state government. The Benue State government hopes the benefits of the partnership will include cleaner environment, job creation, improved internally generated revenue, climate change mitigation, improved organic fertilizer, biogas, carbon credit, and 35 MW power of additional electric power. Emmanuel Akula, BENUETVNEWS, Makudi.
The Benue State Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has been summoned to tender relevant documents in the sale of 12 moribund companies belonging to the state government that were under its supervision. The Commission of Inquiry investigating the sales and lease of government assets issued the invitation when 2 directors of the ministry, Mrs. Mbamirin Yadiv and Francis Kurum, appeared before it to be cross-examined over the transactions. The respondent disclosed that out of the 13 companies under the ministry, only Banking Plastic Company, which was leased to Oracle Conglomerate, was functional. However, the commissioner discovered Oracle Company was no longer honoring the lease agreement as it has stopped paying the transaction amount, while the directors who appeared could not provide the documents for the transactions. On whether more than an international market was sold or leased, the officials of the ministry said they lacked relevant knowledge of the business deals, hence they were not in charge. The panel resolved that it would embark on an inspection tour of the said properties to make proper assessments. Also at the hearing, the Director of Benue State Liaison Office, Cardinal Paul B., presented a memorandum containing lists of the state government's properties in Kaduna, disclosing that the Governor's Lodge, Benue Plaza and Benue Guest House, among others, were sold by BIPC. Also, the administrative officer at Abuja Liaison Office, Veishima Ashungu, appeared to testify but was asked to step down to go and bring the relevant documents needed for his defense. The Makudi Magistrate Court has remanded 5 headsmen militia at the Makudi Correctional Services Center for their involvement in the attack on a commercial vehicle in June 2024. Report says the group robbed and kidnapped 20 passengers of 2 Benue Links buses and killed one of the drivers along Otukbu Highway at Ojanu Village, Ohimini local government area on 13th of last month, June to be precise. The suspects Salih Hassan, Yakubu Bukanje, Inusa Idris, Yusuf Ibrahim and Yahuzi Idris were arraigned by police over a 5-count charge of criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, kidnapping, rape and culpable homicide. Prosecutor Inspector Godwin Arto held that the defendants in their operations dressed in army uniform and blocked the highway during which they attacked the 2 buses from the Benue State government-owned company. The suspects were said to have robbed passengers at gunpoint. The gang also shot one of the drivers, Gabriel Opali, who died on the spot, while they kidnapped over 20 passengers of the buses and held them captive at Oglewu Forest, raped a female passenger and collected 18 million naira ransom before releasing the victims. Ruling Chief Magistrate Kelvin Mbanongu gave an order that the suspect be remanded at the Correctional Center and the matter be adjourned to 3rd September 2024 for further mention. Still to come on Benue Television News at 9, Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said a total of 2,102 suspect cholera cases and 63 deaths have been recorded. We'll bring you details of this report and more after the break. Stay with us.
Benue Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benue Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form cost 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benue TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569. Benue Fashion Show, embracing fusion fashion.
Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Jide Idris, has said a total of 2,102 suspected cholera cases and 63 deaths have been recorded across 33 states and 122 local government areas in the country. Idris stated this in Abuja while giving an update on the campaign against the cholera outbreak as the National Youth Service Corps introduced strict camp guidelines with the commencement of the 2024 Batch B Stream 1 orientation course. The orientation course runs for 21 days, equipping and training participants of the one-year mandatory service. To ensure a successful program, the Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, has issued strict instructions to camp coordinators and officials to prevent the outbreak of cholera in orientation camps nationwide. Speaking to newsmen on the measures deployed against the outbreak, Idris puts the case fatality rate at 3.0%. He said 7 of the top 10 states of Lagos, Bayelsa, Abia, Zamfara, Bauchi, Katsina, Cross River, Ebonyi, Rivers, and Delta, which contributed about 90% of the cases, were southern states. Cholera, a highly contagious food and waterborne disease, is caused by the ingestion of the organism Vibrio cholerae in contaminated water and food. The Rivers State Police Command has arrested the commander of a local vigilante group with 2 human skulls and other parts of his hideout in Omoku, headquarters of Ogba Egbema, in Donyi local government area of the state. The police also said its operatives in a clampdown on the exercises of vigilante groups operating in the state arrested 7 other members of the local security outfit for sundry crimes, including murder. Spokesperson for the State Police Command, Grace Enrique Koko, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Enrique Koko said commander of the Onel LGA Security and Peace Advisory Committee, codenamed Ospak Felix Nwamba Kata, who is the principal suspect in the murder of 2 brothers in Idu, Ogba Egbeme, in Donyi local government area of the state on May 1, 2024, on allegations that they were kidnappers. She disclosed that the arrest of Nwamba Taka and other OSPAC members followed numerous complaints about their operations in different parts of the state, especially in Ogba Egbema, in Donyi local government, saying the operatives of the outfit recently attacked the police division in Omoku and clashed with other security agencies. According to Enrique Koko, the Rivers State Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, has advised that any resident who has complaints of assault, extortion, or illegal detention should make a report at the nearest police station. This is said that while recognizing the relevance and importance of these vigilante groups in the community policing system, the command will keep engaging and synergizing with these groups on what is expected of them and their limitations. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Kwara State Command has apprehended 3 suspects allegedly involved in various criminal activities including theft, burglary, and fraud. The command's public relations officer PRO Ayola Shola said detectives from the tracking unit arrested one Ibrahim Wasiu, 31, from Eyekorin area of Ilorin. Shola said the arrest followed a report from one Mini Kabir of several burglaries at his residence. The PRO reported that the complainant claimed that valuables such as motorcycle, Android phones, a home theater system, and other household goods have been stolen from his residence. He said that after thorough investigation, the suspect was apprehended and all the stolen items were successfully recovered. The PRO said all the suspects confessed to the crime and would be prosecuted in a court of competent jurisdiction once investigations were completed. The state commandant Umar Mohammed, on his part, assured the public that the court will not restrict its request to combat criminal activities in the state. Mohammed issued a stern warning to criminals to vacate the state, emphasizing the court commitment to ensure a safe environment for law-abiding citizens and making it unsuitable for criminals. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) has predicted thunderstorms and rains from Wednesday to Friday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook released in Abuja predicted morning thunderstorm on Wednesday over parts of Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Taraba, and Adamawa states. It said morning rains are expected over parts of Lagos, Ondo, Delta, Ogun, Abia, Rivers, Edo, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River states in the southern region. It anticipated high prospects of continuous rains for Lagos, which might lead to flooding. The agency forecast thunderstorms with rains over the entire region during the afternoon and evening hours. NIMET predicted morning thunderstorms over parts of Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, and Kaduna State, and Thursday with thunderstorms over parts of Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, and Jigawa State later in the day. He anticipated partly cloudy atmosphere in the morning over the north-central region, with thunderstorms over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Benue, and Kogi State later in the day. NIMET urged the public to take adequate precaution as strong winds might precede the rains in areas where thunderstorms were likely to occur. He further urged the public to take note and to take safety precaution in places where continuous rains were expected. He advised airline operators to get updated weather reports and forecasts from NIMET for effective planning in their operations. Let's now join Lois Yotium for business news.
Government grades NPA 100% on payback ranking. Dangote Refinery declare crude supply emergency, oil producers tell Tinubu. Hello and welcome to Business Today. I am Lois Yotiong. The federal government's Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, has called the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, 100% in performance on the ease of doing business in Nigeria. This was made known at the just concluded PEBEC Cohort 3 program. The recognition was given as a result of the NPA's dedication to driving reforms. PEBEC noted that NPA drove about 63 reforms, which doubled the number of activities it engaged in ahead of other federal government agencies, thereby anyhow the title of the most committed agency that achieved 100% fit. The most significant reform under Cohort 3 is the reduction in export processing turnaround time after benchmarking against competing jurisdictions. The authority reduced its processing time for exports from an average of 10 days to a timeline of 3 to 5 days, depending on the arrival of the lifting vessel. Other reforms embarked on are ensuring transparency, reduced costs, and streamlined processes. Speaking on the development, The managing director of NPA, Mohammed Bello Koko, commended the frontline role of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, whose pragmatic leadership helped in achieving the feat. He said the comprehensive reform agenda being implemented in the maritime industry made the industry of marine and blue economy emerge as the best performing ministry in driving payback reforms. As concerns mount over the lack of domestic crude oil to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other indigenous refiners, the Independent Petroleum Producers Group IPPG has called on President Bola Tinubu to consider declaring a state of emergency on crude oil production in Nigeria following the lingering crisis associated with this. IPPG is an association of Nigerian indigenous upstream exploration production companies that engages the government and other industry stakeholders on issues affecting the sector. It has 28 members. The oil producers also expressed fears that the 2024 budget might be implemented partially due to the low production of crude in Nigeria lately. This came as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced that it had declared war on the challenges confronting oil production across the country, adding that it was currently engaging its partners, including international oil companies. However, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Henneken Lokbobiri, charged the oil producers to increase their investment in the upstream arm of the business, as this would also help to grow oil output. They all spoke at the ongoing Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference in Abuja on Tuesday. Nigerian oil production has been dropping since this year, falling from over 1.4 million barrels per day in January to about 1.2 million barrels per day in April. Oil producers believe that Nigeria should be producing about 2 million barrels per day in order to meet the demand of local refineries as well as export. Dangote Refinery as well as operators of modular refineries have continued to raise concerns over the poor crude oil supply from IOS and NNPC. However, industries experts says most of the crude volumes by the IOS and NNPC have been contracted out to dealers already amid the low production in the country. Presenting the industry keynote address at the conference, the chairman IPPG, Abdulrazak Issa, pointed out that the industry was in dire need of extraordinary focus to mitigate the genuine concerns on its long-term sustainability. That's it on Business Today. Many thanks for watching. I am Lois Yotion. Do stay tuned for the rest of the bulletin.
We'll now go for a break. We'll return to join the foreign scene for more updates. Please stay with us. Kenya's police has fired tear gas and water cannon at protesters across the country as demonstrations against the controversial financial bill continue, even after the president said he would not sign it. In the capital city, Nairobi, riot police fired tear gas and charged at protesters. Hundreds of protesters marched through Mombasa, Kenya's second largest city, carrying palm fronds, blowing plastic horns, beating drums, and chanting "Ruto must go." There were smaller rallies in the cities of Kisumu, Nakuru, and Nyeri. The protests are the most widespread unrest since dozens of protesters were killed in clashes a week ago. They appear to signal that President William Ruto has failed to appease the youth-led protest movement, despite abandoning plans for tax rises that triggered the unrest last month. Kenya National Human Rights Commission said that at least 39 people had been killed in the protest, which began on June 18th. Most of the deaths took place on June 25th, when police opened fire on crowds tried to stop the parliament complex in central Nairobi. After legislators vowed on the bill, the commission said at least 361 people have been injured at the demonstrations in what it described as excessive and disproportionate police force. The president, who took office in September of 2022, defended his decision to call in the security forces to respond to people he called criminals, maintaining that he does not have blood on his hands. While Ruto withdrew his support for the bill a day after it was passed, the move has done little to stem the anger among the protest movement. Many protesters fear the president could still sign the legislation before it officially expires next week. Japan's top court has ruled as unconstitutional a defunct eugenics law which saw 16,500 disabled people forcibly sterilized between the 1950s and 1990s. The Supreme Court also ordered the government to pay damages to 11 victims who were involved in 5 cases that were heard on appeal. Wednesday's landmark ruling brings to an end a decade-long fight for justice by victims who have been demanding compensation and an apology. After years of lawsuits, in 2019 law finally granted surviving victims damages, but some have continued to fight for higher compensation. In 4 of the cases brought to the court, the central government had appealed against the lower court's compensation orders. In the 5th case, 2 female plaintiffs had appealed against a dismissal of their claims, with the lower court citing the statute of limitations. Under a post-World War II law enacted in 1948, some 25,000 people, many of whom had inheritable disabilities, underwent surgeries to prevent them from having children deemed inferior. Japan's government acknowledged that 16,500 of the sterilization operations were performed without consent. Although authorities claim the 8,500 other people consented to their procedures, lawyers have said they were forced into surgery because of the pressure they faced at the time. Forced sterilizations were most prevalent in the 1960s and 1970s during the post-war baby boom. Many of those forcibly sterilized had physical and intellectual disabilities, mental health problems, or chronic diseases such as leprosy. Hurricane Barry is barreling towards Jamaica after battering the southeastern Caribbean, killing at least 6 people across the region and flattening some 90% of homes on one island in the Grenadines archipelago, being the earliest storm on record to reach Category 5. The highest on the Saffir-Simpson scale was expected to start losing intensity, but forecasters said it would still be an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm when it passes near or over Jamaica on Wednesday and near the Cayman Island on Thursday. Scientists cited human-caused climate change as the likely culprit for the storm's rapid strengthening. The storm was located about 480 kilometers southeast of the Jamaican capital, Kingston, with top winds of 250 kilometers per hour, and officials there warned residents to gather provisions and safeguard their homes. The National Hurricane Center, NHC, in the United States said Jamaica appears to be in the direct path of Beryl and that the storm would bring life-threatening winds, heavy rainfall and storm surges to the island nation. 3 people were reported killed in Grenada and another in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 2 other deaths were reported in northern Venezuela, where 5 people went missing. In Grenada, Prime Minister Dinkin Michel said the island of Carinico, which was struck by the eye of the storm, has been all but cut off, with houses, telecommunications and fuel facilities there flattened. Barreling in the Atlantic season's first hurricane, and the World Meteorological Organization (WMO) said it sets an alarming precedent for what is expected to be a very active hurricane season. We'll now join Loretta Okor for weather report. Hello Loretta, over to you.
Analysts say protecting the environment calls for creativity, while promoting economic development must take into account issues around climate changes. According to the government of Benue State, its partnership
Hello, here is the weather report for Thursday. And let's quickly look at the weather here in Benue State. The atmosphere will be very cloudy with possibility of thunder outbreaks and rain falling all day long over parts of Makodi, Otuko, Boko, Kasinala, with temperature low around 23 degrees Celsius and high around 27 degrees Celsius. Humidity of 54% with 50% probability of precipitation. We anticipate similar weather conditions over parts of the Federal Capital Territory, with the temperature varying between 22 degrees Celsius low and 26 degrees Celsius high. The very humid atmosphere will become unstable with early morning fog giving way to low cloud and stormy rains in the afternoon towards the night hours in Ekiti State, with temperatures low around 21 degrees Celsius and high around 27 degrees Celsius. That's it from here. Join us again for another weather report. I am Loretta Okor.
Thank you, Loretta, for that weather update. To end the news, here's a recap of the main stories. Benue State government imposed 24-hour curfew in Ukum local government area of the state. Rivers State Police Command arrested commander of vigilante group over alleged crimes, and on the forensic Uto Kenya police fired tear gas, water cannon at protesters across the country. My name is Mercy Upa. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.